everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today's podcast is going to be with the famous, and we just had a conversation about this, the notorious, that's another good word, that's another good word, Auntie Cathie. And if you don't know who Auntie Cathie is, you're gonna find out in this podcast who she is, where she came from, and more importantly, where she's going, but all the history of where everything came from being gluten-free and where she moved to from another place and vegan and everything else like that. And we're going to talk about branding too, because she's so well branded that we talk about being pigeonholed, being gluten-free and vegan and things like that. We're going to talk about branding and how specific branding can help you. And then we may have a conversation about how branding can sometimes hurt you in the future. So, Auntie Cathie, it is an absolute pleasure to be across from me and having this conversation.
I'm so happy we finally got together to do this. I love it. And I'm finally glad I got to come to this fantastic studio. I love it. The Yoda.
You were walking around.
Yes.
Yeah. My wife calls it like my 1,400 square foot man cave.
It is. It is. It is definitely a man cave, but it's really cool. It's it's great.
It works.
It does. Works for me.
So, Auntie Cathie, I feel like you're infamous and famous and notorious for gluten and vegan. Let's start at the very beginning. Like, how long ago did you start the niche of baking? Not necessarily in gluten, or gluten-free. Did you start in another direction and then went into gluten-free? How did Auntie Cathie come about?
Okay, so Auntie Cathie became about when my my desire to open up a business. I was in the restaurant business most of my adult life at other businesses that I did not own. And I was always thinking that someday I would love to have my own business because I love to cook, I love to bake. And it turned out that I was able to start a business. And it was actually 21 years ago that I started my business this year. This June was my 21st year of business. And I started in Wales, Massachusetts on a card table by the side of the road, selling muffins, homemade jam, homemade soap, not the melt and pour kind, the real homemade kind with lye and oils. And I think I had a couple of squash that I grew in the garden too. So there I was. 21 years ago in Wales, Massachusetts on Route 19.
Wow.
And so I was still working full time at an actual job that I was an accounts payable manager at the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to slowly start this little dream of mine. Mm-hmm. And I was able to. And I started with the card table, and then the card table blew away. So we built a farm stand.
Like legit blew over?
Legit blew over. Yes, because I literally duct taped a beach umbrella to the table because it was sunny out. You know, not thinking of the elements like wind that would go underneath the umbrella and just blow this like car. It was a car, one of those card tables. Yeah. And so that was like plan B. So plan B was the farm stand. And then I went from selling stuff on a card table to selling stuff outdoors on a farm stand. Mm-hmm. And we actually had coffee, pies. And then, once I had more space, I could bake more.
Yeah.
And then I started buying all my equipment, and it was in the house. And then winter was coming, and I obviously wasn't going to stand outside at a farm stand selling stuff in the middle of winter. So we built a bakery in our barn. Okay. And we took the garage and we turned it into the kitchen. And that's where the actual place, the real Auntie Cathie's, was born, in that barn, the actual bricks and mortar. And at the time, we didn't have a name, and we were kind of trying to figure out what to name it. And, you know, there's a bunch of adults sitting around probably drinking or doing something and like, what's a good name? And and there's my niece who was there. She was not drinking. She was 8 years old, but she was there too. It was like my sister was there, a whole bunch of us. Yeah. And she just looks at me and with her little high squeaky voice said, why don't you just call it Auntie Cathie's? And that was it. Wow. And so that's how Auntie Cathie's became the actual name. Yeah. And the bakery itself, we started off regular, full gluten baking. breads, pies, whoopie pies. We had little sandwiches. So probably a year or so into it, I started having customers come in asking me, do you bake gluten-free? And I did not know what that even meant. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I don't think I know what to do or how to do that, but I'm going to try. So for people who, you probably know this, you own your own business, or you're a baker, you're a photographer, whatever you do, you always want to do as much as you can to keep things interesting and trying new things or different things.
Yeah, changing up a little bit.
That to me was a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, it's like challenge on, gluten-free. Yeah. Can you do it?
Yeah.
And
make it taste good.
Yeah. And so I went out and I bought a couple books. I got the different kinds of flours, because when you bake gluten-free, you don't use wheat. You use like a rice flour, tapioca starch, different components to make things hold together.
Got it.
And so I did. And I started making little samples and putting them in those little Ziploc sandwich bags, and I made bread. I would make like 3 different kinds of breads, and I'd say, okay, this one is 1, this one is 2, this one is 3. And I would hand them out to all the people that asked me about gluten-free. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And people liked them. So the next thing I did was I tried to take some of my recipes and make them gluten-free. And that was a little bit of a disaster at first, but again, once again, it's like how you learn to make something new. Yeah. And this was definitely a challenge for me. So it was great though. Things were coming out pretty much like my regular baked goods. And again, it was a learning process, because with the gluten-free baking, there are certain things that need like more baking powder or more oil or more egg. And you I just had to experiment a lot.
Find
so it was
a
little bit of science going on there too. So I started really finding this fascinating. So that was really the driving force behind that. And then I was asked, probably about 4 years into my bakery there, which was, business was amazing. I was out in the middle of nowhere, and people were driving from Springfield, from Amherst. We had a lot of people coming to that little place. A lot of people. And so I got found by a place in Springfield. It was called Kid Stuff. It was almost like an organic Chuck E. Cheese, where they did everything gluten-free and dairy-free, and they had kids' birthdays. So they found me and asked me if I would bake their cakes for them. Really? And I did. So every week I would bake cakes for this Kid Stuff, and I would bring them out, and that kind of launched me into my next location, which was, I was at one time 3 Cafe. And I bought that business from some people in Springfield. So the Auntie Cathie's thing kind of went to the wayside for a little bit. And the 3 Cafe was an amazing little breakfast and lunch place on Belmont Avenue near the X. And it got very popular very fast. And I was there for about 3 years. And that place was, we offered everything. We did regular baking, vegan baking, and gluten-free baking, because I was still learning the vegan, the gluten-free, how to combine the two together. And that place went on for about 3 years. Then I shared a spot with some people in Longmeadow, and that didn't last a very long time, because it was really kind of hard, because they were a pizza place and I wasn't. And when you make gluten-free or you bake gluten-free, you can't be in a place that's using regular flour.
Good point.
Because then there's even particles in the air could cross-contaminate.
I would have never even thought of that.
Yeah, that's the hard part about being either you're all in or you're not.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're half and half, there are people that are so sensitive, and celiac, and the tiniest bit of gluten would make them sick.
Wow.
So those are the people that probably would never come there. So when I was there, I decided to move out, and I got my next location, which was in West Springfield, and that was in 2013. And that's when I got sick, and I pulled through that, and I kept going, and that place was a huge success. That's when I bought the food truck, but I was still partially gluten-free and not. So once again, I still was doing all the baking was gluten-free, and we did pancakes that were gluten-free and French toast, because now I was a little more advanced. And all the things I was making and baking, and we were selling the breads, and we were selling the desserts, and that's where we started making cakes and doing all that, the extracurricular so to speak, like with special orders. And then I was there until about 2018. But before that, my current location in Cooper's Common, Kate, the owner of the property, approached me while I was in West Springfield. And she said, I have this great spot. I think you're going to love it. And she approached me twice over the 5 years. The first time I couldn't go because I was only 2 years into my lease. Yeah. And the second time was about 2 years out of my lease. And I went and looked at it and I fell in love with it. And you've been there, so you know.
It's an amazing place.
Adorable.
It's an amazing atmosphere.
Yes, that's what I loved about it. It reminded me of a large version of my first place. Yes. In a barn. With the beams. Yeah. All the old kind of...
nostalgic wood touches and things like that.
Yes, the wide beam, the boards, everything. So I took the place ahead of the fact that I still had 2 years on my lease. And they were great with me. They worked with me. And I was able to open that place up with bakery and just minimal small menu. And we were still baking there. We were baking there and bringing it over to West Springfield. Then in 2018, I was like, you know what? I just got to do this one thing. So me and the truck went over to Agawam. And I was still... mostly, I was probably at that point 95.9% gluten-free, but hanging on to that last little bit, like the breads to make sandwiches on, because I was always afraid if I took the jump and made it all gluten-free, what about all my other customers that had been following me for years? And so I was a little afraid of that, but
completely understandable.
So when I was there, I made the truck gluten-free, which was great. And I still think a lot of people came to the truck and didn't even know or care because most of the food we make, we don't use boxed, canned ingredients. We make our own stock. We make our own chicken salad. We roast the chicken from, so it's gluten-free. Anything that doesn't, natural, salad,
anything
tomatoes,
that's not processed,
carrots, gluten-free. So I already had a really good head start. I was making my own gluten-free bread. So we had that for sandwiches. And at this point in time now, we are so far into the gluten-free thing that so many companies make amazing products like wraps for sandwiches or, things that I just didn't have time to do. So we found really good products. I went to a lot of food shows and tried a lot of things. And so now we're 98.5% gluten-free. And it's just COVID, boom. Well, so we decided still at that time, I still didn't pull the plug. We were still open, but I also at that point in time I think I gained a lot more of a following because we were so gluten-free at that point, and we were doing vegan as well. I started delving into the world of vegan, not just baking but cooking as well. So we offered a lot of vegan options. And during COVID, we were close to the public walking in, but we were the only people in that building, and people could come up to those French doors, and we could wave at them and hand them food. And once again, I think we were discovered more. So now I'm seeing a little more of the side of the gluten-free, like here's the 98.5 and here's the other half, and then here's that last
sliver, that last little sliver.
1.5, 2.5, whatever it is, And so as soon as COVID kind of died down, I sold the truck and I pulled the plug and I went completely gluten-free. And it was the best thing I ever did.
I want to talk about it. Most people, like 20 years ago, I don't think anybody knew what gluten.
There was nothing.
Exactly. There was nothing. And nobody knew that there was allergies to gluten and why they weren't feeling good and things like that. I'd like you to address basically what you've learned about gluten and what it does to somebody's body, either allergically wise or how it makes them feel. Because I know that's one of the reasons why people are, like my wife is no allergies to gluten. She prefers to eat gluten-free because it makes her feel better. Right. Tell me, as if I don't know anything about what gluten is. I know it's going to be a very loaded question, but in a nutshell, because gluten is more predominant now than it ever was before. I have some of my clients that come in, and when they come to my table, I ask them, do you have any allergies? And they look at me, it's like, well, if you have any allergies to gluten or anything like that, I have a specific gluten-free vegan baker that does, if you're looking for a little cake between you and your husband, kind of thing like that.
Yeah, to cut. Yeah, and so, I do get a lot of those referrals, and it's great.
In a nutshell, talk to me about what gluten is, what it does, and how it affects the body and things like that. Not from a doctor's point of view, but from a baker's point of view.
All right. Okay,
I know it's a loaded question.
No,
just do your best.
I'll do my best, and this is what I've learned. So gluten is a protein in the wheat that binds things. So in other words, when you need your bread dough and it's elasticy, gluten. So gluten-free flours don't have that in it, obviously. So that's the first challenge there. What gluten does to people, there's a few things, and this could get a little complicated because there are a lot of, so there's, for instance, first of all, there's a wheat allergy.
Okay.
That doesn't even really, I guess I could say doesn't really have so much to do with the gluten, but the wheat. Then there's a gluten intolerance, which is almost like a dairy intolerance, or, it's like you could probably eat a little bit of it, but it's not going to cause you, it's not going to bench you, it's not going to send you to the hospital, it's not going to. And then if there's anything in between, the next thing I know is you have celiac disease, which is an actual, and I think this is why what you were saying before about nobody knew what they had, because they never had a test for this. Now they have a celiac panel test, and it's a blood test. And what your body can't absorb nutrients.
Okay.
And there's little hairs in your intestines. And the gluten, with people with celiac, it shears off those little little hair, villi, I think that's what they're called. And I think it blocks things so you're unable
to process,
to absorb any kind of nutrients, and you can get really sick.
Really sick. And
I know there's a lot of bloating, and I know people that would spend days in bed if they got gluten.
Yeah.
So that is how I learned about the gluten intolerance or the celiac disease. The wheat thing, wheat allergy, to me, I've heard people say they get rashes, they get hives, stuffy nose, it's like an actual allergy.
Like an allergic reaction.
Now, when you talk about, like your wife, she does it for other reasons. I have a girl who works for me who has rheumatoid arthritis. She doesn't eat gluten for inflammation purposes. So that's people that have migraines, people that have skin disorders. There's a whole host of reasons why people would stop eating not just gluten, but anything that would be considered an inflammatory. So now what that does for me is that's where I kind of went into the dairy-free and into the vegan. And what I mean by vegan for me is I do eat meat, I do eat fish occasionally. There's a lot of egg allergies. There are a lot of dairy allergies, like severe dairy allergy, severe egg allergy. I can't do dairy very well after my illness and all the chemo and medications. It changed my body completely. So I had a really hard time processing dairy. And once again, there are people that don't eat dairy for the same reason. If dairy has hormones in it, everybody has a reason why they won't eat a certain thing, but maybe for health reasons or for eating it and it doesn't make you feel good. So I think that's for me with the gluten. I really found it to be a helpful thing for people. And I found it helpful for myself because, again, I had the illness and I had the medications that changed my body that could no longer process the things. So it actually helped me understand it more to realize what it's like when somebody gets sick. And that's why one other reason why I kind of pulled the plug on the gluten too, because I was like, listen, if this is helping people, it's helping me. It's helping the girl that works for me. I have another girl that works for me now who has a condition with her esophagus. If she eats dairy, it's anaphylactic.
Wow.
So
she needs an EpiPen kind of thing like that. Wow. I would have not known all of that information because somebody who's not allergic to it or doesn't eat gluten-free, it really doesn't affect us until it affects us. And then we have to research it and things like that. So you mentioned when you pulled the plug and finally did it 100%. Let's go into branding now.
Yeah.
So I feel like that you were on the map for doing gluten-free for the longest time. And once you went full 100% into it, we talked about branding before and being we called about being pigeonholed. And sometimes if you're too narrow, it does lessen how many people will come to you for your product.
Right.
Okay. And we know that and we understand that. But it also kind of widens the expertise of what you do. So there's a pros and cons to having that part in there. So you are branded. I mean, everything about you is branded when it comes to everything. Your colors, your logos, and your name and everything else like that. We talk about you being recognized. I think that's an amazing thing. And I know we talked about the pros and cons to it at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yes.
But you're on TV.
I am.
Was it Channel 22?
I am.
Yeah. So you're on Channel 22. You're also on your social media with your, you call it? Fireside Chats with Freddie.
Fireside Chats with Freddie.
So, and you're on Instagram. So all of her information is going to be down below to follow her and do that. But let's talk about branding. What made you finally did it, but what made you come up with the concept of the colors and the branding itself?
So when I left the barn in Wales and I went to 3 Cafe and I was not Auntie Cathie anymore. And I really missed that because I felt like I got away from that whole kind of roadside feel, that nice, relaxed kind of. And I actually did, I don't remember what year it was. I think it was like 2019. It was definitely before COVID, but I got picked to do one of the story slams at the Academy of Music. It was Notes from the Field, CISA, and they have 10 people who had farming experience because I had a farm when I had my first location. And that story, I told it very well. It basically was the story of somebody who got too big for her britches. And I feel like that time, the 3 Cafe, the Long Meadow, I just was like riding the wave, but not in a good way. You know, I got like, it all came real fast for me. Yeah. And I kind of was a little bit, I don't know what you want to call it, but again, I felt like I was a little full of myself and everything kind of came crashing down when I got sick and I lost the business, which is another story altogether. So when I went to West Springfield and I opened that location, I wanted to go back to this. I wanted to be this. Yeah. And what this is a vintage cookbook character. And that's how I felt. I loved old things. I loved vintage. I loved the joy of cooking. I think I have like a first edition that has no cover on it anymore. Really? And I like the home style, the roots, the barn, the beams, the baking of the stuff in the oven where like your grandma used to, you know, I just have a big tie to a lot of my family with food and cooking. And that's really where it all comes from. You know, there's so many good memories about that. And so I had a friend who worked for me and her husband is an illustrator and a designer. And I said to him, Jonathan, make me a vintage cookbook character. And that's how I love it. That was born. I love it. And he did it in 2015. And it's great. And it was me, the leopard, the everything, like it didn't, the glasses, the gray in the hair. That was pre-gray in the hair, but now it works perfectly because there's gray in the hair. There, in my opinion, there's probably no more accurate branding because I know you personally. I know you personally. So because I know you personally, there's nothing more accurate than this branding to you. It's not ever like, oh, I can see. It just fits you. And being pigeonholed into that gluten and vegan and everything else like that, I feel like that's what separates you because now I feel like there's a lot of people trying to start baking that way. Right. Okay.
And now we are 2025.
Oh, there's a lot.
And you've been
out
doing
there.
this since 2000, for 21 years now.
Yep.
So I feel like there's a lot more people out there trying to do the same thing. But I also see them trying to do one or two things, not a whole menu like you do.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what separates you from the crowd.
Yep. That's what a lot of people say when they come in. They're really happy that they actually have a place where they can come and get food and baked goods. And it's safe because half of the staff can't have, you know what I mean? It's like something's wrong with all of us there.
Well,
we've labeled ourselves.
Your bodies have changed. I think you've said it that way.
We've labeled ourselves the island of misfit toys because we all have something wrong somewhere. Evelyn's got gluten sensitivity because she's got RA. Jen's got her condition and she can't eat gluten. And Elizabeth is allergic to apples. She said if she eats an apple or fruit with skin on it, she does not need to go get lip injections. She said it's actually kind of fine like that.
Yeah.
So dairy, that really is a hard thing for me. So we all have our own little problems.
But I feel like what you've done and what you've built was based on experience, not trying to fit into a market to try and do something. See, that's what I feel is what's different about you. It's not like you just.
I'm not even celiac. I don't even have a gluten allergy. But this is the truth. It sounds corny, but there is nothing more rewarding than being able to make something that tastes so good.
Yeah, that's where I'm going next.
That it makes a mom cry because her kid could have a pancake or a waffle and to be thanked for what I do. That's the only reason why I do this.
That's not corny at all.
I didn't do this to be like, oh, I can make gluten-free and I'm gonna. No, this was because it was a challenge for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn. It kept me over the years. Honestly, it really was what kept me going, doing this. The drive, the humans, my customers, the people that constantly I have people that still from Wales come to me.
Yeah.
I
That's
am
branding.
so
I love it.
Grateful and thankful, and it makes me want to do more.
Yeah.
Like not long ago, we just made a vegan and gluten-free cheesecake. Like, it's crazy. And now I'm doing all these kind of crazy things with it. But I wanted to make it because I wanted to eat cheesecake. And now everybody else gets to eat it too. So there's always something driving me forward.
Yes. And that's what I was saying before is I feel like that's what separates you because you're doing it because of experience and you want to experience it and you want to learn it as opposed to that would be like me who's French and I decide I want to go start a pizza shop and I'm not Italian, so how do I make a sauce kind of thing? That would be trying to do something that I want to do and learning it as opposed to you did it because of experience. And I feel like it's a little bit more genuine.
Yeah.
You weren't doing it for the money. You weren't doing it for the experience. You weren't doing it to separate yourself. You did it because there was a need. And that's what separates you from anybody else doing it. Now, people that are doing it now, they're doing it because of their needs also. So I get that. But for you, for 21 years, that's where it birthed it from there to where you are right now. So were you always a baker?
No.
Okay.
No.
So baking just came into the table side before the table blew away.
So before the table, so the reason why I baked, this is kind of a funny story.
I want to hear it.
Okay. So when I moved to Wales and I wanted to start my own business, you have to do the right thing and go to the town hall and tell them what your plans are. And at that point in time, each town has certain rules. They follow the food code, like the Massachusetts food code. And so I was okay to bake as long as it was non-hazardous. So in other words, I could make a muffin. I could make bread, anything. So once I got the go-ahead to do that, that's kind of why I started baking. Otherwise, I would have started a business with making sandwiches but that was a whole nother different thing because then you have to get into having a health inspector. So the easiest way to launch this was to do it by making basic things, like nothing with cream fillings, no dairy, because nothing like that. So that's how I ended up doing it. It was almost like a forced way to do it. So I learned more about baking, I did grow up with, my mom was a baker. She made everything, and we made everything that she made when we were able to. Like, she taught me how to make pie crust. She taught me how to make bread. So I knew how to do all those things before I actually started the business, which was great.
Yeah. That was very helpful, I bet.
It was.
Very helpful.
And my dad was a cook. My grandfather was a chef.
Wow.
My grandfather was a chef at like the Palm Beach Biltmore, and he was a big chef, I call him, because he had like a big, huge team of people working for him, making nice sculptures and all that.
I love it. I love it. So, let's fast forward to 2025. Where are you now with Auntie Cathie's?
I am still learning. I'm still trying. I'm still here. I feel like I'm shrinking. Like years ago, if I did a podcast, I'd be sitting straight up. Now I'm like a little old lady hunched over the table, holding myself up for 45 minutes. No, I am still there.
Cooper's Corner, right?
Cooper's
Corner
Common.
in Agawam.
Yep, in Agawam.
Cooper's Common in Agawam.
159 Main Street, and I am open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I know that we were open Saturdays also. I stopped. The reason why I stopped doing that, I tell everybody all the time, it's because I'm old. All right? I'm like the little old Italian lady. It's because I'm old. I'm not wearing a black dress yet, okay? When I start wearing the black dress,
then we'll know.
Then you'll know.
So you wanted the weekends for yourself,
I wanted the weekends, and you know, everybody already probably knows, but I met someone finally after how many years, and he's great and awesome, and we have you know,
he's awesome.
Yes, and we have a blast and we have fun, and I want to have fun because before that I spent the 19 years throwing myself into my business. I missed out on a lot, but it was my choice opening the business.
Correct.
So now what happens is, as I get older, I find the best way to do it is to I'm learning. You know, when you're younger and you have a business, you're here, you're there, food truck, catering, running, jumping, that kind of thing, you know?
Yep.
And when you're older and you've done the business for a long time, you're like Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 2.
And that's okay. And what it does is the people that want to get something from you, they know the times that are open. Your glass case empties very, very fast.
It does.
So because they know they're only there Tuesday to Friday, and during that time, they got to go and get as much as they can because they know they're not, going to be open on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So words of the wise, get there early if you're going to get there, and just do that. So, and I feel like that's just smart. You are a human. You have a life. Go and enjoy it and go away on the weekends like you do.
The thing that I know, as well as you probably know, because you have a business, you cannot be your best self if you work yourself to death. Yeah. And I was getting to the point where I was getting like that, and I feel like I wasn't my best self, and I would be more inclined to be less patient with things. With the past couple of years, having the extra day, having some more free time to myself, and doing a little more, I have found that I'm still able to work comfortably. I'm still able to do the things I love to do, learn how to do new things, try new experiments, change things a little bit, always reinventing. And I think that's what I'd like to continue to do. Like right now, we are a little bit backed in on taking special orders, but I'm still taking them. It's just please call early. Don't wait till Friday or Thursday to call because you know you needed a birthday cake tomorrow. And believe me, I've done it for people. And I just right now I don't know if I can because we always have a small group of people working, which we love. The small but mighty team. That's what I call them. And I find also if we keep it like that, that's the other thing. It's the consistency and the quality of everything, not just the baking, the place, the vibe. I want it to always be the Auntie Cathie's happy little place. Very rarely do I think anybody walks in there and says, oh my God, they're all angry and hateful today. You know what I mean?
I want to talk about still staying in the vein of the gluten part of it because I feel like this is what people don't like about being gluten-free. They don't like the taste of it. There's what you do and what you make and what you create and what you've come up with. There is a good taste about everything that you make. Like when I go in there and get the waffles, I don't even have to walk to the counter. She knows exactly what I'm going to order because every time I come in, I get the waffles every single time. Fresh fruit, and then you have the option of real whipped cream or vegan. And it's the same thing all the time. The waffles are the best waffles, and you don't miss the ingredients that's so-called the other way that they're made.
Right.
And it's very good to be eating that way. It's really, really good. So talk to me about, you must do a lot of taste tests and trials and errors and things like that. How's the process of that? If you were going to start, okay, let's talk about the cheesecake that you just made that now is dairy and vegan free.
It's vegan and gluten-free.
Okay.
So it's got no egg, no dairy, no gluten.
But does it taste like cheesecake?
It tastes amazing.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So people that are on the fence that they don't know, there's I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, 10 years ago, gluten-free could have tasted different than what gluten-free tastes like now.
Oh, it's definitely huge.
Your eyes lit up. Tell me about that. Tell me about that, because there's a lot of people that think that gluten-free is blah.
No. And so here's what I've learned. I think the things sometimes that people either taste or get. So there's a whole realm of things out there now. There's like paleo, keto, gluten-free, like different diets. And all these different diets are made with different things. So now it's like this shell game, so if you took gluten-free, right? Then there's sugar-free, then there's keto, then there's paleo. I feel like a lot of times when you see products in the store, they've got all those elements, because they want to be everything. They want everybody to buy them. They want the people that don't, have these, high protein, low fat kind of things. And I think that's what happens. Too many things get crossed over. And when you get gluten-free, sometimes you're getting it maybe with a different flour or eliminated. And you do get that, it's like a dry old shoe kind of taste. So
that's a good analogy.
A dry old shoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like that's what's in people's minds.
You saw that.
Yeah.
I saw the old shoe. I see the old shoe because I know what people think. This is disgusting. It's like sawdust falling out of my mouth.
Your food in your place is not like that.
And the reason why is because hours were spent on how many waffle batters did I make before that one actually came.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, it needs a little more of this, needs this. And you write everything down. Yeah. Now, I have tried, once again, the shell game where I take gluten-free and sugar-free and vegan. And that comes out like a brick in your wall here, literally, because those things, if you have a gluten-free vegan cake, it has no egg, no dairy, and now you're trying to put a sugar in that has no moisture whatsoever in it, because if you open a bag of Swerve and you dump it on a counter, you can just go, and you get the big dust cloud because there's no moisture in it.
Yeah.
Try that in a cake with no...
Great point.
It's like you drop it on the floor and you've got a dent in your nice wood floor. So again, that's what I avoid. People want a dessert that has sugar. Yep. I use organic cane sugar. The vegan stuff doesn't have egg in it, but there's vegan. A lot of things I do, I try to do them soy-free. There's a lot of good fats in the products. But again, I don't like to interchange them. And I don't use almond flours. I don't use heavy flours because when you can bake gluten-free with almond flour, which in some things gives it nice crispiness, but in big bulk things, sometimes it just makes things a little too heavy. So I made a couple of different mixes. One of the gluten-free mixes is made for making things without egg or dairy, and the other one is made with egg. So there's different amounts of things to suck up the liquid, so to speak. Again, it gets a little scientific there, but so, and the other thing is, I do like things that taste normal. So people come and ask me, do you make sugar-free? No. Do you make this? Do you use this? And no, and the reason why I say no is because I just want somebody to come in and get the best tasting gluten-free dessert that they can get.
So gluten is the focus. So gluten-free is the focus.
Gluten-free is the main focus. But now all the baked goods are dairy-free. And now also probably 80% of them are vegan.
Okay.
So, and then once again, that's a trial and error of doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've mastered that. I feel like
think finally.
Well, perfection takes time.
21 years later, and I finally did it.
Perfection takes time in order to get the right recipe for the right thing and the right So with that being said, I want to talk about recognition. I feel like the awards.
I've won awards.
I know that. And I want to talk about the awards and shout them out, because I feel like being recognized for being gluten-free in a restaurant so tell me about the awards, the last couple of awards that you've gotten.
So the last couple of years I feel like, I really feel, I'm really serious. When I pulled the plug on having any gluten in the place, I really feel like I hit my, now I'm like, my hamstrings are great from kicking myself in the butt for not doing it sooner.
Yes. Yes.
And so I feel like that really propelled me into a place of not necessarily award winning, but something that I work so hard for. Like,
hard work pays off.
So as well as I do in a business, there's nobody to give you a review or a raise, for that matter. And so when you don't have that, the only way it's not winning the award is not the only way. Customer feedback, great reviews, positiveness, people that you see every week.
Repeat customers,
I see people sometimes every day. And I'm like, oh my God, you're here again. And they're like, yes, because I love it so much. That is my review for the day.
That's your award.
That's my award. So all the awards that the physical ones you can hold and have to go up on stage and get, those are amazing too, because the one that really threw me for the loop and was the best feeling I ever could have had in my life was when we got the Rita Raves Best Bakery. Not gluten-free bakery, just best bakery. So here we are, the full-on gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free bakery, and we just took that award and we got it. For no one even cared. They didn't say gluten-free bakery even when I got the award. It was like,
even though you're pigeonholed into gluten-free,
I'm pigeonholed.
With their reviews and what they were looking for didn't disqualify you.
People just wrote me in. Because I think the Rita Raves is a write-in.
I love it.
And then we also got, when we did all the catering, we got Best Caterer. And then every year since 2018, I've either been Best Place for Gluten-Free, First Place, or a finalist. And so 2018 I was in West Springfield. I got my first Best of, and that was for the First Place one. I don't even know if that was for gluten-free. It could have been, I think it was. And then all through, I still kept the finalist, either second or third place. And then this year, I finally got the top spot back.
And this was the Best of the Valley?
Best of the Valley.
Best of the Valley advocate.
Best place for gluten-free, Pioneer Valley.
We
were, and again, winning all those awards to me is like, there's either two ways I can look at it. It's like, all right, I reached my pinnacle. Now I can close up and go home. Or, no, I know. Or it makes me want to just keep working harder. And I'm not going to be out there going, please vote for me. But I'm going to say, well, you know what? People think I'm the best. I'm going to stay the best as best as I can.
And I feel like you're not doing the business for the accolades. You're not doing the business, and you're not coming up with all the gluten-free stuff that you do for the accolades and the votes and everything else like that. You're doing it because of a love of what you do.
I love it.
The accolades come because of people for voting for you. So that's got to be a good feeling when it comes to that. So and it is a good feeling when you get the awards.
Well, it's like when you love what you do, it really shines. Like, look around here, everyone. Look at all these beautiful photographs. You love what you do. So your photographs, they're an expression of you. My bakers, when you look at my photos on Instagram or my cakes or whatever is out there, and the food and the big giant sandwiches and the love that you put into stuff, that's it. That's all it's about. If I wanted money, I would have not done this.
So you can definitely tell you're not in it for the love of money. You're in it for the love of what you do. But your cases sell out every single day.
Because we love it. And we love it. And we love the cases selling out. And there's some days where it doesn't, and there's some days that it's slow. But once again, it's okay, because then we get to catch our breath and start all over again. and we stay until we finish refilling that case every day.
So anything else you want to talk about, baking wise, gluten-free wise, business wise, branding wise, anything else you want to talk about?
All I want to say is to everybody that will watch and listen to this, thank you so much for everything, because I would not still be doing podcasts, making cakes, doing whatever I do without everybody that has been supporting me for 21 years.
For 21 years.
So it's a huge bunch of like love and thanks and gratefulness for all the support, because I wouldn't be here doing a podcast with you
if anybody that knows you, if they don't walk away from that and getting a feeling from you of gratitude, then they really don't know you. You radiate gratitude.
Well, I just think it's because there's that pigeonhole into she's Auntie Cathie. Yeah, I am. I'm just a schlub in the grocery store and try to shop for my dinner and do whatever and ride my bike and have a life, or I'm just a normal person. And the business that I've made, it was hard work. And I work every day. I'm not sitting home. I appreciate everything I have.
There's nobody that could ever question where you were to where you are now and say that you didn't work hard to get to what you do. And there wasn't a lot of sacrifices that came along the way when it comes to that. So what does 2026 and 27 look like for Auntie Cathie?
Well, I think my goals for the next couple years will be to maybe look at a little more. I've always been a little hesitant to leave the business. And I don't mean it like I don't trust people. I trust the girls that I have. I think they're great. I think what I'd like to do is take a little step out and maybe find a few more people that have a little more experience and leave some stuff to the girls who are very capable. And I've taught them how to do things. And I may not even be there. I could be there and be not doing the baking and nobody would know.
Or pop in and pop out.
And the food, I look at like my girl Jen. She's behind the line slinging out the food. I think it looks better than when I do it. Elizabeth too, both of them. And Elizabeth taught Jen. So it's all like, I taught Elizabeth. Elizabeth taught Jen. And again, everybody follows suit. So nothing looks different. Like if you get the waffles this time, they're not going to taste different or look different next time. If Jen or I or Elizabeth make them, because we were all on the same page. And if I can get, I think it's going to work where I get a few more people that are in that same page that we are, then I may not be there on a Wednesday, or I might not be there on a Friday afternoon, or I might not work Mondays anymore. I would like to start taking a little time, and I do have a lot of people know my dad because he comes in every Tuesday. My dad and mom come in. My mom's 87, my dad's 91. I need to start spending some time with them. And I've been taking my mom here and there to the doctors, and it's been great for me because I get to have fun with my mom, and we go to lunch, and I let her push the grocery cart. Apparently, my dad never lets her push the grocery cart.
So that's so nice of you.
So those are the things that I need to start looking at and doing, and also taking care of myself.
So
I'm getting
first and foremost. I'm
going to be 64 in a few weeks. So that's for this job. Like my brain is 25.
I agree.
But my body's 64. And I still want to work, but the better I keep myself in shape, the more I'll be able to continue, because once again, I don't want to lose the quality or the consistency. And we've already figured out if I'm not going to be there, we're going to get a cardboard cutout and it's going to stand in the corner and it's going to have an arm waving.
I love it. I love it.
You're going to take the picture.
I'll take the picture.
You're going to take the photo and we'll get it all done and set up, and it's going to have one of those arms that waves. So when I'm not there, and maybe we can even make it talk, like motion activated. So if somebody walks by, it'll go, "Hi, how are you?" And then after 50,000 times of it going, "Hi, how are you?" when a person walks by it, they're going to be like, "That isn't her."
That'll be interesting. All right, anything else you want to talk about?
I want to say thank you to you as well for having me on.
My pleasure.
It's been a blast.
This is a long time coming. We did some branding pictures with you last year, and we're like, hey, this would be a great opportunity to do this. you're busy, I'm busy, fitting that time in. And I finally said, I got to do it now because I just want to get it done and get it in. And it's just, for me, that's having that conversation because you are one of the iconic people in the area for gluten. You are. I don't care if you agree with it or not. You are iconic. You are a legend in the area for being gluten.
I love that word.
And it really is. And I feel like you're legendary. And some people think, oh, that just means I'm old. I was like, no, that just makes you the best at what you do.
Thank you.
So, in this podcast is all about businesses, whether it's a baker, a soap maker, it doesn't matter what it is, it's how you started and where you did, what you had to do, the sacrifices that went along the way. I learned so much about gluten that I didn't know affected people in those ways, kind of thing like that. So that was helpful to me. And I want to emphasize, you don't sacrifice taste when you go, when you make it, when it is.
You're not gluten-free and you're there all the time eating the waffles.
And the waffles are good. Even the Danishes are good. Even the scones, the chocolate chip scones.
I have them again. I have them.
Do you? Yep. Okay, I got to get there then.
Yep.
But yeah, little things like that, it does not sacrifice the taste. And I feel like that's what I really want people to know, is just because it's gluten-free doesn't mean it's taste-free. It tastes amazing and it's healthier for you. Gluten allergies or not, it still tastes great and you still feel better.
And you leave there not feeling all greasy and gross. That's what I love about it. Like, we make a beautiful big sandwich.
Yeah.
You can eat it or not. Usually most people end up taking half of it home. And I feel like that's the best part is I have a lot of customers that come in and say, my husband was just diagnosed with celiac disease and he's so upset he doesn't eat anything. And then they'll bring him in and he tries one of those big meatloaf sandwiches on homemade gluten-free bread.
With the tater tots.
With the tater tots. And he's sold.
Yeah.
So we've converted a lot of.
And what does your summer menu look like right now?
Summer menu, we have a lot of sandwiches. We actually have, if people remember correctly, the beet burger salad was very popular. Okay. So that's a homemade roasted beets, roasted vegetables. So it's like a big veggie burger on a salad with avocado and goat cheese. A lot of salady things, tuna salad, chicken salad.
You did some fish ones not too long ago.
We do.
What kind of fish
was that? We have the shrimp po' boy, the crispy fried shrimp.
Yeah.
We have a really good.
You had a white fish in there not too long ago.
The soul bowl.
Yeah, the soul bowl. That's what it was.
The soul bowl.
That was really good.
Yep, and that was gluten-free too.
Yep.
So we're really most of the sandwiches we're doing the Turkey Brunch Club sub, which we brought back. We brought back the Turkey Club quesadilla way back from the old days. Yeah. So we're trying to fit in some of the old things, and the menu's actually going very well. So on a daily basis or a weekly basis, can they go to your Instagram and find you on there with either any updates or closings you'll put in there? Yes. If there's any holidays and things like that. I know you guys are really good about that. We do it on the top. So when you go onto the website, you go auntiecathies.com, you come to the homepage, everything is right there. If you just scroll down, it'll tell you like, we're going to be closed for vacation from Tuesday, July 29th to August 5th. Yeah. And that is up there. Yeah. And then I'll post that on Facebook. The specials are all listed on the website. I throw out snippets on social media. Like tomorrow we're going to have our usual menu, but we have a chocolate marble vegan cheesecake that I made, magic squares. Like I'll highlight on, and I've got some great pictures of like the breakfasts, the cowboy cakes, the big pancakes with the bacon in them and the fried eggs on top. So I try to highlight what I think is going to grab people. And you do all your social media. Yes, I do it all. On top of cooking, on top of baking, on top of anything else. Kudos to you, because I know, I do my own also, and I know how hard it is for me to keep up on that. Yeah. You do the same thing. It's so hard. It is. And I try, but sometimes I find myself like, oh, I already posted a blueberry muffin, or I already did this. I try to post different stuff, but I find that like lately, Jen has been great. Jen used to work for me before COVID, and she just came back. She's awesome. She'll be like, Kathy, look, you got to come and take a picture of this. Or she'll take pictures of it and send them to me. So like tonight, I got a boatload of good information to throw out there, plus the fact that we're going to be on vacation. So I have been trying to get something out every day. Like we just started doing those cake slices. Yeah. I was so proud of my carrots. I was like, I love it. So like those things we're doing. And so again, we're doing new things. There's always something new coming, always new trying. I love that. Yeah. Good. All right. Anything else? No. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
that was a lot of information when it came to being gluten-free and eating gluten-free. And like I said, there's no sacrifice in taste at all whatsoever. And you're gonna have to go check them out at Cooper's Common.
Cooper's Common, 159 Main Street in Agawam.
There you go.
Big red building with the white horse in the front.
Yes, and the summer hours right now are Tuesday
through Friday.
9
a.m. to 2 p.m.
9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get there early because that case empties very, very fast. So thank you to you for listening. Thank you to Auntie Cathie for coming in and indulging us with all of this information that was just, it was necessary. I needed to know why certain things came about. 21 years ago, nobody even knew what gluten was, and celiac disease and everything else like that. Now, there's a lot more people being diagnosed with that lately. So now I want people to know that there's places to go to get not just good desserts that are important and good baked food, it is important, but good food at the same time.
And we're safe.
Yes. Everything about it is excellent. So thank you guys. Thank you, Auntie Cathie, for coming back again. Thank you guys for coming back to the channel. And remember to smile more because it sure does hurt less. Peace. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay.